Representative Hoyle for her opening statement.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Today we're considering 5 bills on wildlife conservation and natural resource management. H.R. 3692 and H.R. 4256 are strong bipartisan proposals. Representative Moulton's Young Fishermen's Development Act reauthorization will continue supporting the next generation of commercial fishermen facing the graying of the fleet challenge. Representative Min's Digital Coast Reauthorization Act will help our coastal communities access critical data and tools to address climate impacts and plan future developments. Representative LaMalfa's bill, H.R. 4970, would allow water transfers from the Orland Project to California's Central Valley Project at any time at the request of the Orland Unit Water Users Association, rather than just during drought emergencies. I understand drought and water availability are a major challenge in California. I look forward to hearing from our witnesses here today on this legislation. However, I do have some serious concerns about the remaining bills. Representative Gosar's H.R. 4255 would prematurely strip Mexican gray wolves of Endangered Species Act protections when only 286 wolves exist in the wild. The fact is the Mexican gray wolf is not ready to be delisted. Instead, we should work together to get Mexico to do its part to help us properly recover this migratory species. Finally, Representative Newhouse's H.R. 2073 would prohibit federal funds from allowing, leading to, or even studying the breach or functional alteration of the 4 lower Snake River dams. It also prevents any spillage operations unless they're approved by the Secretary of the Army and the Bonneville Power Administration. This bill follows the administration's recent decisions to withdraw from the Resilient Columbia Basin Agreement between the federal government, the states of Washington and Oregon, and 4 tribes, including the Nez Perce tribe, whose chairman is here with us today. Salmon recovery is critical for the Pacific Northwest's ecosystems, our economy, as well as for the federal government's responsibility to tribal nations. And whether or not you think that dam removal is the way to achieve that goal, and I do recognize a wide range of views on this issue, this is not an easy issue to address. The fact is it's already federal law that Congress must explicitly authorize any removal of an Army Corps dam, as well as any reduction in authorized usage. Unfortunately, I can't get behind the fact that H.R. 2073 would ban studies into what it would take to replace or modify these dams. Now, these dams provide nearly 1/3 of the Pacific Northwest power. They're central for regional trade, they help with flood control, and they are the subject of major environmental debate. But we shouldn't tie our own hands from being able to research their impacts, even while we acknowledge that right now there is no other way to replace that power. Now, in the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, where I'm also a member, we regularly pass water resources development acts that require the Army Corps studies of all sorts of issues. I'm not aware of any recent WRDA barring the Corps from reviewing the future needs of a project like this bill would. It just seems like overreach, and the fact is, if the lower Snake River dams are truly irreplaceable, as some claim, then we should see the facts to prove it, and we would want the data that would help us effectively manage them. I would like to thank Chairman Wheeler from the Nez Perce tribe for joining us today and sharing his experience and expertise on these issues. And moving forward, I hope we can work together on collaborative solutions to salmon recovery in the Pacific Northwest, like habitat restoration and hatchery funding. Thank you, and I yield back.